Hi everybody, my name is Nate Stewart. I'm a loan officer here at CoLab Lending in Puerto Rico, and today's video is all about the most frequently asked questions regarding the VA home loan benefit so that you know how you can use the program to buy a home in Puerto Rico. Ready? Let's jump in. Are you ready for the questions? Yeah, excited to be here. All right, well, let's not get too excited. First question, is the VA home loan benefit available in Puerto Rico? Yes, most definitely available in Puerto Rico. It's literally one of our favorite loan programs to help folks with because, veterans typically give a lot for the country, and it's our pleasure to help folks take advantage of this benefit to buy a home for themselves on the island. What does someone need to qualify for the VA home loan benefit in Puerto Rico? Well, the main thing that we look for basically is the certificate of eligibility, which is easy for us to pull. We just need the veterans or the service member's social security number and date of birth and their name, right? And then we can pull that document, and it shows us everything that we need to see as far as like how much eligibility they have, if they've ever used it before. It shows us if they're receiving like disability income and if they're exempt from the funding fee. Are all branches of the military eligible for this benefit in Puerto Rico? Yeah, to my knowledge, I believe they are. So long as they have that certificate of eligibility, they're good to go. Even Space Force? That's a new one for me. I believe so. I mean, like I said, so long as they have the certificate of eligibility, I think even somebody on the new Space Force, I guess would qualify. Certificate of eligibility being the main thing we look for. Would you give a loan to someone if they're in space? I guess so. I mean, so long as they'd be coming down eventually to occupy the home, yeah. How would you get the money to them? A wire transfer? There's no wires to space. You're right. Probably have to send it up there on a balloon. What's your next question? Can you buy an investment property with the VA benefit in Puerto Rico? No, it has to be for the veteran or the service member's primary home, like their primary residence. They'd have to occupy it like that. And it doesn't actually matter how long. Sometimes people call and they say, look, I'm going to occupy the property for more than half the year. Can I use it as a VA home loan benefit? It doesn't actually matter how long you plan to occupy it. The underwriters are going to assume that it's 365 days a year. The main criteria that they ask for is that your income source that you're using to repay the loan, that is, would follow you and that your income would remain the same with you living on the island 100% of the time as your primary home. What if somebody just lies and says that it will be their home? That would be considered mortgage fraud, which is definitely illegal. And underwriters have their ways of figuring those things out. So we always encourage folks to be honest on their application. Okay. And what if a borrower already has a VA loan in another state or another place? Yeah, sure. I mean, that happens from time to time. Sometimes folks are living in one place and just want to move, or if they're an active duty service member and they get stationed elsewhere, it makes sense. And it is definitely possible for someone to have a VA home loan benefit that they've used before and have an active VA loan elsewhere, and then we can help them get one in Puerto Rico. Like I said, so long as their income would continue the same in Puerto Rico, and so long as they have enough bonus entitlement in order to cover the amount of a loan that they would need, we can help them with that. We can help figure out too how much of that entitlement they have. We use that, again, the certificate of eligibility, that all important document, to calculate and do the math on to figure that out if they can get and use like a second use of the benefit. Is 0% down allowed in Puerto Rico? Most definitely it is. Yeah, borrowers are able to go for the VA home loan benefit if they're eligible with 0% down, so long as they have a sufficient income to cover the payments of a loan that size. And no closing costs, right? So there would usually be closing costs, right? So 0% down is just the down payment. So that's the payment towards the equity in the home once it closes. Closing costs are the costs that go towards all of the other different entities that are facilitating that purchase, right? And so there are circumstances where veterans can, or service members taking advantage of the program, will have no closing costs and no down payment. That can be possible. But that kind of depends on the specifics of the transaction. So there's a couple ways we can get that to happen. One is with what's called lender credit, where if the borrower agrees to take a higher interest rate, the lender will actually pay them some credit at closing that can be applied to their closing costs to keep those costs down. So that's one way. That's kind of market specific, depends on how interest rates are looking. And then the other more common feature would be what's called seller credit, where the seller literally agrees that some of the proceeds of the sale, they're going to contribute back to the veteran at closing to help them cover those costs. Again, this needs to be negotiated with the seller. It can get done that way. We can structure it that way. In Puerto Rico, it's not as common, but we have seen it happen, and we've been happy to help folks get lender credit and seller credit to keep those costs as low as possible, and even try to get them to zero. What about VA construction loans or rehab loans in Puerto Rico? At this moment, our company, so we don't have those programs available. We just have like the straight VA purchase. We also have the VA refinance transactions as well that are available options. But as far as like new construction or like rehab, those programs we don't have available at the moment in Puerto Rico. Okay, what about condominiums? Yeah, condominiums are definitely a possibility, and that's one nice thing about the VA benefit is that the VA publishes a list of all of the condominiums that are already pre-approved by them, and so that helps facilitate things a lot. So if a veteran wants to use their benefit to buy a condo, we can look at that list and see exactly which properties around the island are already approved, and then help them buy that. And even also too, if a property is not on that list, it can be possible to get what's called a spot approval. And that takes a little bit of doing. Like we have to, send some information to the VA for their consideration, which can take a little bit of extra time. So that can be factored in, but that can be possible as well. Can people buy a multi-unit property with VA in Puerto Rico? Yeah, most definitely. It can be multi-unit so long as the veteran, like the main borrower, is going to be occupying one of those units as their primary home, and that it can only be up to 4 units. And then yeah, we can facilitate that. Does the loan process take longer because it's VA or because it's Puerto Rico? No, shouldn't. No, processes. Sometimes process can take a long time if we get issues with the appraisal, right? Like if there's repairs that are needed, or title issues, right? If there's like an inheritance problem that needs to get ironed out. I've made other videos talking about some of the types of problems that folks can run into, but they're not specific to VA, and most issues aren't even that specific to Puerto Rico. Like it's just kind of general things, and so no, a VA loan shouldn't take any longer. As a matter of fact, we've been cleared to close on a VA loan in as short as 17 business days. I see. That would be fast. What about VA appraisals? Well, in general, what makes it a VA appraisal is just that the appraiser has to be certified by the VA, and meaning that they have to be aware of the specific property requirements that the VA calls for, which is mainly the VA just wants veterans or service members to be moving into a property that is healthy, safe, and up to the standard for them to be able to live in. And so sometimes it can be said that VA is a little bit more strict, and that's just, again, it comes down to like the health, safety, and structural integrity to make sure that the veterans are moving into a place that's good. But it doesn't take any longer. As a matter of fact, one nice feature about it is that if the property doesn't appraise on value before the appraiser actually sends their opinion, which is final, well, basically final, there's this moment called triggering tidewater, which means that we have the opportunity. They let us know basically that, look, it's not coming in on value, and then that gives us an opportunity before we even know what value they got to provide comparable properties and try to get that opinion of value up as close as we can to what the agreed upon purchase price is on the contract. And so that's a nice feature that we get, like an extra bonus, like a little preview that it didn't appraise. We get some time to try to work that out and get that value up. And then another benefit too with the VA appraisal is that if that doesn't work, and we're very confident that it should have appraised better, we can actually go to the VA, and the VA can provide support and kind of help mediate and review the appraisal and see if it was done accurately, which is a really nice benefit to the VA too. What's the maximum loan amount for VA in Puerto Rico? Another nice feature is that there is not technically a max loan amount. It's kind of lender specific, and does depend somewhat on the credit of the borrower, but we can run numbers and talk to our lending partners. We just pre-approved a client not too long ago up to $1.2 million with 0% down. And so that's possible in Puerto Rico versus the conventional loan limit, which is $726,000 and change right now in 2023. What's the minimum credit score needed for VA in Puerto Rico? That's a great question. There is not technically a minimum loan or minimum FICO score that the VA stipulates. That is also lender specific, but usually we're able to get approved all the way down to about 620 for VA in Puerto Rico. Can I buy a condo on the beach with a great view? I mean, yeah, sure. We help folks use the VA benefit to buy condominiums that have good views. I mean, it's that doesn't exactly factor into the loan program, but yeah, we could help with that. May I have my letter of approval then, please? My pre-approval letter? I mean, like you specifically? I mean, sure, we can start the application and take a look. And if do you have a letter of eligibility? Can I borrow $20? All right, man. This is getting weird. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna leave you to it. All right. Thanks. Ooh, you're just gonna take the microphone off like a tough guy and walk out of the room? Is that professional? Well, everybody, that's the most frequently asked questions. Tried to have a little fun. Anyway, maybe it got weird. I hope it did get a little weird. But anyway, if you have questions, if you want to know anything about the VA home loan benefit, if you qualify for it in Puerto Rico, and if your scenario would work, and the main thing being your income, please give me a call. My contact info will be in the description below. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.